Holiday shopping at Tanger Outlets is in full swing. Shoppers look to get a bigger bang for their buck. In the face of inflation, the outlet chain saw record numbers over the Black Friday shopping weekend and remains optimistic about discount shopping trends. Let's bring in Tanger Outlets CEO and President Stephen Yalof to talk shop. Stephen, good to see you here. So you've been out there touring a lot of your locations. Has the holiday season lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, I think it has. Again, you go back to 21, and I just listened to the last piece that you had, and everybody's talking about sales expectations for 21 being some of the best that retailers have seen in quite some time. And actually comping 21 seems to be a pretty good trend. And now as we look at our traffic, particularly coming out of Black Friday and going to December, we're starting to see it build and build higher than that 21 trend year.
What would you typically track against with regard to that traffic in prior recessions and kind of using where the consumer mindset is, where sentiment is prevailing at this point to compare back to previous times to determine where foot traffic is either higher versus previous recessions or lower at this point too?
Sure. I mean, look, the most recent recessionary headwind we faced was back in 2009. And, as our founder likes to say, in recessionary times, people are looking for value. People are looking for value every day. Yeah. But particularly when there's a recessionary headwind, people are really looking for value, and we're a great place to shop.
You exited your most recent quarter with an occupancy rate of 96.5%. That is It's pretty darn high. How have you managed to fill up all these locations?
Well, there's a couple of strategies. First of all, if you take a look at the direct-to-consumer brands that have recently executed bricks and mortar stores in full price environments, both streets and malls, what we're finding is those direct-to-consumer brands are now finding the outlet space. And they are because they find it as a place where they can come in, do a full brand expression of their product without brand dilution that you might get if you put your product in some other secondary channels that are a little bit more mass. So those are great sources. Additionally, we see a lot of our better performing retailers expanding in our space because these stores have been truly productive for them, especially since COVID, where they continue to ramp up. Our shopping centers are open air environments, and again, great brands at value pricing every day.
We're seeing kind of a reinvention of shopping centers, and there's more of a lifestyle component that gets added into it. What have you heard from non-retail companies who are trying to move into those spaces too?
Well, I think that's a strategy for us too going forward. The old narrative of the outlet center was the power shopping experience. You would go from store to store to store, grab a pretzel, and go to the next store. And here what we're finding is people are doing a little bit more research online. So we're engaging through our digital initiatives to give more product and more visibility to the things that we're selling in our outlet centers online. And so when the shoppers come, they at least are a little bit more targeted. But they're also looking for more things. And we've also learned, if you do a little bit of that study of the things that you learned during the COVID period of time, what we're also finding is that people are looking for a better food experience, for sit-down restaurants, better amenities, more entertainment, and we're executing to that as well. Most recent example of that is the Dave & Buster's that we put in several of our shopping centers.
Do you see those non-retail customers of yours as more profitable in those shopping center spaces too?
Well, we see a customer who stays on property longer will definitely ultimately build a bigger basket and execute to a higher sales volume for us.
As the rents for your tenants, they reset next year and going forward, what does the pricing look like for those rents?
Well, we reported in our last quarter earnings report that our rent spreads on a blended basis, and that's the indication of the rent that you get from a renewing tenant to their new renewal set, or from a re-tenanting, and that means a new tenant taking a space that was previously occupied by somebody else. That blended number has grown 5%. And that's 18% on re-tenanting and just under 4% on renewal, which for us, we've had 6 consecutive quarters of growing rent spreads, and we'll continue to grow our rents.
This may seem like a random question, but for a lot of the shoppers that go into these experiences too, their cars are sitting idle for a long time. We've heard a lot about spending into these experiences to make sure that you can have people be able to recharge their cars while they're even on premise there.
That's right.
What kind of shift does that mean for you infrastructurally over at Tanger?
Well, our ESG initiatives are extremely important to us. And the two things that we dug into over the last 2 years is, first of all, raising our solar footprint. So we've doubled our output from a solar point of view, and a lot of our shopping centers are in the southeast, so it made it a lot easier for us to execute. But one of the things that we're truly proud of is we have EV charging in every one of our shopping centers. So we're part of that EV charging network. And as a driver of an electric vehicle, I find it very convenient when I pull up into one of our shopping centers and I'm able to charge my car while I'm waiting.
Last one for you here. Are you seeing a lot of retail crime in the outlets? It's something I've been writing a lot about here. And I look at a company like Target. I mean, they're calling out a $4 million hit this year because of inventory shrinkage, which in their view is people going into these stores, maybe breaking a display and walking out with merchandise.
Yeah, that's been a big issue across all channels, from streets to malls to the open air environments that we're in. And we take our security extremely seriously. And fortunately for us, the incidents, at least in the last 6 months, have curbed substantially, and we're thankful for that. But
because of more security, you've put more people.
Well, we have put some more security, and particularly around the holidays. And a lot of our retailers are also a little bit more putting more security in their stores as well.
Tanger Outlets CEO and President Stephen Yalof, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.